Between Laughter and Tears, Part 2. Laughter is not always happiness, tears are not always misery. Originally, laughter is often associated with happiness, while tears are linked to misfortune. Atha bin Abi Muslim interpreted Surah An-Najm, verse 43, by saying, Allah makes one joyful and makes one sad, because happiness can bring laughter and sadness can bring tears. Tafsir Al-Baghawi, 4, 255. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, once said, Paradise and hell were shown to me, and I have never seen anything like today in terms of good and evil. If you knew what I know, you would laugh little and weep much. Hadith narrated by Muslim, number 2359. However, tears should not always be viewed negatively, and laughter cannot always be seen positively. Tears are merely a sign of sadness, and laughter is just an indication of happiness. For instance, when it is said that fever is one of the symptoms of COVID-19, it does not mean that everyone who has a fever is necessarily infected with COVID-19. Similarly, with laughter and tears. People who laugh a lot are not always happy. For example, we may have friends whose daily lives are full of jokes and laughter, perhaps even their job is to make others laugh. After a deep discussion, they themselves admit that their lives are not as happy as they appear. In fact, they confess to feeling sad because people always expect them to appear cheerful, as if they have no problems and are not entitled to feel sad. Another example is a relative of ours who is struggling with depression. According to clinical psychology literature, a person experiencing depression may still be able to show laughter, appear fine, or even be unaware that they are experiencing depression. This is termed as smiling depression and masked depression. From the few examples above, we can understand that days filled with laughter do not necessarily bring happiness, and someone who often laughs is not necessarily okay. Conversely, tears do not always accompany misfortune. There are also relatives whose lives are marked by many tears. They cry to pour out their burdens and complaints to Allah Ta'ala, weep over their sins, and lament their lack of increased obedience. Afterwards, they feel relieved to find that their hearts are still alive. Thus, they are grateful for still being able to reflect and empathize. This is the kind of crying that will lead to happiness. Moreover, Allah Ta'ala has never said a life without tears and sadness is a condition for living happily. Rather, happiness can be achieved depending on how we respond to every joy and sorrow that comes our way. Ikrama, may Allah have mercy on him, said, everyone experiences joy and sorrow. Therefore, make your joy gratitude and your sorrow patience. Tafsir 3, 460. His words align with the saying of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. How amazing is the affair of the believer, for there is good for him in every matter, and this is not the case with anyone except the believer. If he is happy, he thanks Allah, and that is good for him. If he is harmed, he shows patience, and that is good for him. Hadith narrated by Muslim, number 2999. Do not rely on yourself. Since laughter and tears are decreed by Allah, do not rely too much on yourself in seeking laughter and joy, or in avoiding tears and sadness. It is permissible to go on vacation or pursue hobbies to have fun or take a break from the complexities of life's trials. However, just like a sick person who goes for treatment, it is not the doctor or the medicine that provides healing. Treatment is merely a cause, and only Allah Ta'ala is the healer. Similarly, the efforts mentioned above are merely causes, and it is Allah who grants happiness and removes sadness from whomever he wills. More importantly, never think that sin is a cause of happiness or a reason for sadness to be removed. Do not make sin an escape route from various life problems. Some people engage in various sins under the pretext of seeking pleasure and eliminating sadness. When advised solely for their own good, they respond, you don't know anything about me. You don't know my life's problems. I know myself best. I understand what can make me happy and ease my sadness. However, we have witnessed too many sinners whose lives never become happy until the end. True happiness comes from Allah, and it cannot be obtained through means and things that Allah has forbidden. Even if they claim to feel happy, it might be a form of istidraj, gradual entrapment, Allah says. When they ignored the warning of extreme poverty and sickness, and did not follow Allah's instructions, he enticed them further away from the truth by opening the doors of provision to them, and giving them wealth after they were poor. He also blessed them with good health after they had suffered sickness. This continued until they were steeped in their pride and enjoyment of life, then his punishment came upon them suddenly, and they were overtaken by despair and lost all hope. Surah An-Najm ayat 44. Perhaps we know better than others about what can make us happy and ease our sadness. However, we are merely more knowledgeable, not the most knowledgeable, even about ourselves. It is Allah who knows us inside and out, as he says. Indeed, I know that which you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 30. Allah tells his prophet and humankind that he said to the angels that he would put humans on earth who will give birth to other humans, to inhabit it according to his laws. The angels asked their Lord, trying to understand what the wisdom behind making the children of Adam guardians of the earth was, when they would ruin things in it, and kill in it. While the angels always do as he tells them, and recognize his greatness, praising him and honoring his power and perfection. Allah replied to their question, saying that he knew the deep wisdom behind his creation of them, and behind making them guardians, and the angels did not. Surah Al-Baqarah 30. He knows whatever is in the heavens, and he knows whatever is on earth. He knows the actions that you conceal and those that you reveal. Allah is the knower of the good or bad that the hearts contain. Nothing of that is hidden from him. Surah An-Najm ayat 4. Therefore, do not rely on yourself. Increase the supplication taught by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Ya hayyu ya qayyum, birahmatika astaghith, wa asli li sharika lahu wa la takilni ila nafsi tarfata. O ever-living, O self-sustaining sustainer, in your mercy I seek relief. Rectify all of my affairs, and do not leave me to myself even for the blink of an eye. Hadith narrated by Al-Hakim al-Mustadrak al-Sahihain, number 2026. Imam al-Hakim graded it as authentic according to the criteria of Imam Bukhari and Muslim. May Allah grant us true happiness, strengthen us in facing various problems and sadness, and bestow upon us tears of piety that can lead us to happiness in the eternal abode. Author, Riza Mahadra.